On the eve of my wedding, my fiancé Ethan wanted to break up with me because of his stepsister Chloe's depressive episode. This scheming stepsister stole my designs, took my awards, teamed up with my wicked mother-in-law to humiliate me, and bought trending searches to launch a cyberbullying campaign against me. I calmly planned everything, exposed the plagiarism evidence, released the mother-in-law's recording, and ruined their reputations. In the end, Ethan was imprisoned for 5 years. His mother was severely injured and paralyzed, and I was reborn, achieving success in both career and love, becoming someone they looked up to. At a window seat in the cafe, Ethan sat across from me, a hint of weariness and apology on his handsome face. "Ava, let's separate for a while." The fingers holding my coffee cup tightened slightly, my fingertips icy. Our wedding was less than a month away. Invitations had been sent, the wedding dress hung quietly in the closet, and every detail of the bridal suite was arranged by my own hands. But now, he says he wants to break up. I suppressed the turmoil in my heart, my voice calm and unlike my own reason. He seemed relieved, as if my calmness had eased his guilt. "It's Chloe." He mentioned that name, his brows furrowing unconsciously. "Her depression has relapsed, and things aren't looking good. The doctor said she needs someone to be with her at all times, and I can't leave her at this time." Chloe, Ethan's sister in name only, a stepsister with no legal blood relation. Ever since his father remarried, this girl, who is 2 years younger than him, has lived in their home and in our lives. I looked at Ethan, trying to find emotions other than guilt in his eyes, such as reluctance or struggle, but he was just tired, as if making this decision had exhausted all his strength. "So, to take care of her, you're canceling our wedding?" I asked, a subtle tremor finally appearing in my voice. "Ava, don't think like that," Ethan hurriedly explained. "It's just a temporary postponement. We'll get married when Chloe gets better, okay? She can't live without me right now. You know, she only has me." As soon as he finished speaking, a slender figure appeared at the entrance of the cafe. Chloe was wearing a white dress, her face pale, and her eyes slightly red, like a small white flower swaying in the wind and rain. She walked straight to our table, glanced at me timidly, then turned to Ethan, her voice choked with tears. "Brother, do you not want me anymore? Is it because of me that you want to break up with Sister Ava?" Ethan immediately stood up, put his arms around her, and comforted her softly. "Silly girl, what are you talking about? How could your brother not want you?" Chloe leaned against Ethan, looking at me with teary eyes. "Ava, I'm sorry, it's all my fault. I know you put a lot of effort into this design competition, and that exchange opportunity in Milan is very important to you. I shouldn't have gotten sick. Otherwise, I'll withdraw and give the spot to you." As she spoke, her tears fell even more fiercely, as if she had suffered a great grievance. I watched her performance coldly. The Milan design exchange opportunity was obtained through fair competition. My work Nirvana was far ahead in both the preliminary and secondary reviews, while her work barely made the shortlist. The final result has not yet been announced, but she is acting here as if the spot is already in her pocket and she is willing to give it to me. "Chloe," I interrupted her sobbing, my voice calm. "First, the results of the design competition haven't been announced yet. Second, even if they are announced, that spot is earned through ability, not something that anyone gives away. Finally, your illness and the competition are two separate things. Don't lump them together." My directness shattered her pretense, and Chloe's face instantly became even paler. She suddenly broke free from Ethan's embrace, a hint of madness in her eyes, and turned to slam into the wall beside her. "Since you all think I'm a burden, it's all my fault. Then I might as well die." Ethan reacted quickly, pulling her back and holding her tightly in his arms. Still shaken, he turned and roared at me. "Ava, do you even have a heart? Chloe is sick. Can't you see she's emotionally unstable? Can't you just give in to her a little? Did you have to say those things to provoke her?" Ethan's voice was full of anger and disappointment. "I thought you were kind and considerate, but I didn't expect you to be so cold and selfish." He held the shivering Chloe, like protecting a rare treasure. His eyes looked as if I were the vicious executioner. My heart felt like it was being clenched tightly by an invisible hand, hurting so much that I could barely breathe. Watching him carefully care for Chloe, watching him glare at me, a question that I had deliberately ignored for a long time finally surfaced clearly in my mind. "Ethan," I stared into his eyes and asked, slowly and deliberately, "do you really only feel brotherly affection for Chloe? In your heart, what am I, your fiancé, worth?" My questioning was like lighting a powder keg. Ethan suddenly raised his head, his eyes filled with rage, as if he had been greatly insulted. Ava, what nonsense are you talking about? Chloe is my sister. How can you have such filthy thoughts? You disappoint me too much. His voice rose with excitement, drawing the attention of other customers in the cafe. I'm warning you, Ava, stop being so paranoid. Chloe is about to go to the finals, and I won't allow anyone to affect her performance, especially you. He supported the still sobbing Chloe and left a cold sentence. Calm down. Our wedding is only postponed, not cancelled. Stop making trouble. After saying that, he didn't even look at me again, hugged Chloe, and walked out of the cafe without looking back. The moment the glass door closed, it separated two worlds. The coffee was already cold, like my heart at this moment. I slowly raised my left hand, looking at the glittering diamond ring on my ring finger. Once, Ethan knelt on one knee, put it on my finger, and promised a lifetime. At that time, his eyes were sincere and ardent, and I believed him. Now, I only feel irony. I forcefully pulled the ring off my finger, the icy cold touch of the metal stinging my skin. It's over, Ethan and we can't get married anymore. I dropped the ring into the coffee cup, and the dark brown liquid instantly drowned its former brilliance. Goodbye, Ethan, goodbye, to the youth I once deeply loved. Late at night, I tossed and turned, unable to sleep. The phone screen lit up with a push notification from the social media app Instaconnect. I clicked on it and saw a new post from Chloe just a few minutes ago. In the photo, she and Ethan are sitting in the studio, with design drawings in front of them. The two are head to head, smiling sweetly at the camera. The caption reads, "It's worth it to have my brother accompany me to sprint for the finals, no matter how hard it is. Love." There are already quite a few comments from mutual friends below. Wow, still working hard late at night. Chloe, keep it up. Ethan is such a wonderful brother, such a handsome man and beautiful woman. They look great together. When will they make it official? The most glaring thing was Chloe's reply. She replied to a comment egging them on to make it official. Thank you for the well wishes, but my brother already has a fiancé. Then, she specifically added me, a blatant provocation. My fingers unconsciously swiped across the phone screen, and fragments of past memories surged up. I met Ethan in the architectural design club at university. He was a talented senior, and I was a fledgling freshman. We sparked a flame through a collaborative project and went from being campus lovers to talking about marriage. He was once my light, illuminating my entire youth. We stayed up all night drawing, traveled together with backpacks, and planned for the future together. I thought we would be the happiest ending in a fairy tale. It wasn't until 2 years ago that Chloe appeared. Chloe is the daughter of his father's remarriage partner, 2 years younger than him. She transferred to our school and also studied architectural design. Ethan, out of a brother's responsibility, took care of her in many ways. At first, I didn't care, but gradually, Chloe began to intentionally or unintentionally interfere in our lives. She would call Ethan late at night, crying that she was in a bad mood. She would suddenly appear when we were on a date, saying she was lost. She would wear my clothes, use my cup, and even sleep in my bed when I wasn't home. I warned Ethan, but he always said I was overthinking it, that Chloe was just a child who lacked love, and that he should treat her like a sister. We argued about this countless times, and each time, it ended with my compromise. Because I loved him, I didn't want to lose him. Looking back now, those so-called brotherly and sisterly affections were just a carefully designed trap by Chloe, and Ethan willingly jumped into it, even dragging me down with him. Looking at Chloe's face on Instaconnect, flaunting her victory, the last bit of warmth remaining in my heart disappeared completely. I gave the post a like with a straight face. Then, I turned off my phone, got up, and started packing my luggage. I don't want to stay in this house, which is full of memories of Ethan and also full of Chloe's shadow, for even a second longer. The next morning, the doorbell rang. I opened the door and saw Ethan standing outside, holding a large bouquet of roses and wearing a flattering smile. Ava, I'm sorry, I was too impulsive yesterday. He tried to get closer to me. Chloe, she's just like that. Don't take it to heart. She and I are really just siblings. I swear. He raised his hand and vowed, after we get married, I will keep my distance from her. You believe me, okay? I looked at him, my heart completely unmoved. His apologies and promises were ridiculously cheap, but I didn't drive him away immediately. Ethan, I leaned against the doorframe, My tone calm. Breaking up is fine. Canceling the wedding is fine too. But shouldn't we settle the matter of Chloe stealing my design proposal for the Urban Oasis project I did for Apex Group and using it to participate in the Milan design competition? This was the result of 3 months of my hard work. Originally a proposal submitted for internal bidding within Ethan's company, but it mysteriously appeared in Chloe's entry, with only slight modifications. I had considered Ethan's feelings before and didn't make a fuss, wanting to resolve it privately. Now it seems, there's no need. I bring this up partly as a test, and partly as the beginning of a counterattack. Ethan's expression changed, and his eyes darted around evasively. Ava, this matter might be a misunderstanding. Chloe said she just drew some inspiration. Drew inspiration? I sneered. The core idea and key points are almost exactly the same, and you call that drawing inspiration? Seeing my strong attitude, Ethan stopped arguing and instead adopted a conciliatory approach. Okay. I'll handle this matter and give you a satisfactory explanation. He stuffed the roses into my arms and took out an orange box from behind him. Look, this is a limited edition Hermes Birkin I bought especially for you. Didn't you say you liked it last time? Don't be angry, okay? He tried to appease me with material things, like pacifying an ignorant little girl. Just then, my phone vibrated. It's a message from Chloe. A photo. She's wearing a huge diamond ring on her hand, next to a matching orange box containing a Birkin bag identical to the one I have. The caption reads, "My brother sent me a finals gift. He said it was a surprise to reward me for reaching the finals. Happy, and this ring. He said that after the competition, he will give me a real title, Sister Ava. Do you think it's pretty? That ring is the very one Ethan proposed to me with. The one I threw into my coffee cup yesterday. The last straw has been broken." I looked at Ethan's hypocritical face, at the bouquet of bright red roses in my hand and the expensive bag, and my stomach churned. Anger erupted like a volcano. I slammed the Birkin bag in my hand hard on the ground. The limited edition leather bag bounced a few times on the ground, covered in dust. Ethan, you and Chloe are disgusting. My voice trembled with anger. Taking the stolen designs to the competition, and then using the same tricks to fool me. What do you take me for? A fool? And that ring? You fished it out of the coffee cup and then gave it to your good sister? How devoted you are. Chloe is naive? Is she so naive that she can accurately steal the core of my designs? So naive that she can fake a suicide in front of me to gain sympathy? So naive that she can send those kinds of photos in the middle of the night to provoke me? I pointed to the door. Get out. Take your flowers, your bag, and your disgusting sibling love and disappear from my sight immediately. Ethan was stunned by my outburst, and he tried to explain. Ava, calm down. Chloe didn't mean it. She just. I don't want to hear it. I interrupted him, my eyes cold. Ethan, we're done. I have no expectations for you, or for the marriage I once looked forward to. I slammed the door shut, cutting off all his sounds. The next day, another bouquet of flowers appeared at the door, bigger and more vibrant than yesterday. I threw it straight into the trash. Then, I booked the earliest high-speed train ticket to my hometown, Austin. I didn't want to stay in this New York full of lies and betrayal for even a moment longer. Just as I was dragging my suitcase and preparing to leave, the doorbell rang again, inappropriately. This time, standing outside the door was Ethan's mother, Mrs. Davis. She was impeccably dressed and meticulously made up, but the contempt and meanness in her eyes were unconcealed. Ava, I heard you and Ethan had a fight? She looked me up and down, her tone condescendingly superior. It's normal for young people to have little squabbles in relationships, but you need to be more understanding. Chloe is in poor health, so it's only right that Ethan takes care of her. As his future sister-in-law, you need to be generous. Besides, what kind of family are the Devises? You're lucky to be marrying Ethan. Don't be petty, just let it go. I was about to laugh with anger. This mother and son are truly arrogant and selfish, just like each other. Mrs. Davis, I said to her coldly. First, Ethan and I have broken up, so there is no future sister-in-law. Second, climb high? I, Ava, have established myself in New York with my own abilities, and I win design awards all the time. Who do I need to climb high to? Finally, please step aside and don't block me from catching the high-speed train. After speaking, I bypassed her directly and walked towards the elevator, pulling my suitcase. Mrs. Davis was choked by my words, her face turning blue with anger, and she pointed at my back and cursed. You don't know what's good for you. Without Ethan, Let's see what you'll do. Not long after returning home, Ethan's phone call came. He seemed to have just arrived home and learned about the conflict between me and his mother, but he never mentioned his mother's humiliation, instead continuing his charade of trying to salvage the situation. Ava, don't be mad at my mom. She's all bark and no bite. Can you please come back? Let's talk it over properly. Don't be impulsive. He tried to gloss over it. I couldn't be bothered to waste any more words with him. I'm tired. I want to rest. I hung up the phone directly and blocked his number. The so-called talk is just a new round of brainwashing and PUA. I'm tired of it. However, they clearly don't intend to stop there. The next day, I found myself hot. On X feed, Twitter's trending topics, there were several entries about me. Hashtag rising star Chloe jealous and suppressed by fiancé. Hashtag rich fiancé schemingly intervenes in sibling relationship. Hashtag Ava third party. Hashtag. I clicked in and saw that it was all PR articles that twisted the truth. The article portrays Chloe as a talented, kind, and innocent victim who is constantly targeted by her future sister-in-law, me. Ethan, on the other hand, becomes a pitiful brother who protects his sister but is misunderstood by his fiancée. As for me, I am depicted as a jealous, scheming, and vicious woman who destroys their pure sibling relationship, even implying that I am a third party who interfered in their relationship. The accompanying pictures are of Chloe with tears in her eyes, a candid shot of my indifferent expression in a cafe, and some out-of-context screenshot of chat records. It's obvious without even thinking. This is Chloe's doing. Slander and attacks online came overwhelmingly. My InstaConnect account was instantly flooded with all sorts of filthy language. I took a few screenshots and sent them to Ethan. No text, just pictures. Ethan's phone call came immediately, his tone anxious but with a hint of subtle smugness. Ava, don't look at those. They're all fake. Someone is deliberately trying to smear Chloe to influence her competition. He first tried to disassociate himself, and then began his performance. Ava, you have to believe me. I love you. We're getting married soon. Don't be influenced by these rumors, okay? I don't care what others think. I only want you. He was still trying to kidnap me with love and marriage, brainwashing me. This time, I didn't refute, nor did I hang up. I listened as he spoke those lies with deep affection on the other end of the phone, his tone exceptionally calm. Okay, Ethan, I believe you. Let's get married. Ethan on the other end of the phone was clearly stunned for a moment, seemingly not expecting me to give in so quickly. Really? Ava, that's great. He was overjoyed. Yes, I responded softly, while my fingers typed away on the computer. Let's have the wedding after Chloe's competition is over. Hanging up the phone, I looked at the organized files on the computer screen, a cold smile creeping onto my lips. Ethan, Chloe, Mrs. Davis, your game is over. Now, it's my turn to play. The third day back in Austin, the night before the Milan design competition final results are announced, I anonymously sent all the organized evidence, including the original design draft of the Urban Oasis project, timestamped work records, and a detailed comparative analysis of Chloe's entry and my original draft, to several influential design media outlets and industry associations. The title directly points to Chloe Davis's suspected serious plagiarism. To my surprise, the next morning, I received an email from my former supervisor, John. He was my mentor during my internship at Apex Group and one of the people in charge of the Urban Oasis project. Back then, when the plan was stolen, he chose to remain silent due to the influence of the Davis family. In the email, he expressed his apologies and attached a more crucial piece of evidence, a recording of an internal meeting. In the recording, Ethan explicitly asked the team to borrow my core ideas into Chloe's proposal and promised to give the team generous rewards. John said he felt uneasy in his conscience and decided to stand up and tell the truth. The public was in uproar the moment the evidence came out. The design community was the first to explode. Plagiarism, especially plagiarism in international competitions, is an absolutely intolerable stain. Chloe's InstaConnect comment section was completely overrun, transforming from previous comments like "talented woman" and "keep it up" to "plagiarism dog" and "get out of the design community." Her calls and messages started bombarding my phone, ranging from crying and begging for mercy at the beginning to becoming furious and spewing vicious abuse later on. Ava, you bitch. You ruined me. I won't let you go. You just wait. I looked at those hysterical messages and immediately blocked them all. But that's not all. I processed the recording I had of Mrs. Davis humiliating and personally attacking me at the entrance to the apartment, and sent it to several local social news media outlets. In the recording, her condescending tone, her contempt for me, and her statement that "you are lucky to marry Ethan" were clearly audible. This recording was like a bombshell, completely detonating public anger. What was originally just an event in the design circle quickly fermented into a social event. Terms like rich and powerful mother-in-law verbally humiliates her prospective daughter-in-law, and the Davis family's upbringing is worrying quickly climbed to the top of XFeed's hot search list, even overshadowing the popularity of Khloe's plagiarism. Netizens began to dig deep into the scandals of the Davis family and the Apex Group. Apex Group's stock price plummeted, partners canceled their cooperation one after another, and the Davis family fell into an unprecedented crisis. Ethan was desperately trying to manage the PR crisis, but the evidence was conclusive, and his unsavory role in the previous plagiarism incident was also exposed, making all his excuses pale and weak. Meanwhile, I was already far away from the eye of the storm in New York. At my old home in Austin, I turned off my phone and blocked all information. Outside the window, the sun was shining brightly, and the yard was filled with the fragrance of flowers. I spent time with my parents, gardening, reading, and drinking tea, enjoying a long-lost peace and tranquility. Every day, Mom would try different ways to make delicious food for me, while Dad would quietly walk with me and listen to me pour out my feelings. They didn't ask much, but they used their actions to tell me that home is always my safe harbor. Nourished by family love, the gloom in my heart gradually dissipated, and I regained my strength. Half a month later, a friend called and told me about the Davis family's recent situation. Khloe was disqualified by the competition organizing committee for the plagiarism scandal and banned for life. Her reputation was completely ruined, and it is said that her mental state was even more unstable, so she was sent to a nursing home. Apex Group is on the verge of bankruptcy due to a series of negative news and mismanagement, and is acquired by a competitor at a low price. The Davis family is no longer glorious and is heavily in debt. Ethan lost his job, his mansion was mortgaged, and he fell from grace. Evil people have their own retribution, so quickly, so thoroughly. Life is always full of unexpected encounters. Several months later, I unexpectedly reunited with Ethan in front of an office building in Manhattan, New York. He was wearing a cheap suit, his hair was messy, his eyes were dull, and he was being reprimanded by a man who looked like a real estate agent manager. The once spirited and wealthy young man was now down and out, a completely different person. Ethan saw me too. He was stunned for a moment, and then a light mixed with surprise, regret, and hope burst out in his eyes. He ignored the manager's scolding and strode towards me. "Ava," his voice was hoarse, with a hint of flattery. "Ava, it really is you. Are you okay?" He tried to get closer, wanting to take my hand like before. I took a step back, avoiding his touch, and said in a distant tone, "Mr. Ethan, is there something you need?" "Ava, I know I was wrong. I really know I was wrong," he said eagerly. "I was out of my mind. I'm so sorry. Give me another chance, okay? Let's start over. I'll listen to everything you say." This was the third time he had tried to salvage the relationship. I looked at his humble appearance, but my heart was unmoved. "Ethan, we've been over for a long time," I said calmly. At this moment, a black Bentley slowly stopped beside me, and the driver respectfully opened the car door for me. I nodded politely to Ethan and got into the car. The car window slowly rose, isolating his face full of unwillingness and despair. I saw him standing there blankly in the rearview mirror, like an old object abandoned by the times. After the car drove away, I faintly heard the real estate agent manager's mocking voice. "What are you looking at? He is now a partner in a famous design firm, driving a Bentley. What about you? You can't even afford this month's rent. Hurry up and hand out flyers." Ethan's self-esteem must have been crushed to pieces, but I know that people like Ethan will not give up easily. He probably still lives in his own fantasy, thinking that as long as he is sincere enough, I will definitely soften and turn back, and then he can rely on me to make a comeback. As expected, from that day on, Ethan began to appear frequently in my life. He would wait for me downstairs at my office building with cheap bouquets. He would create various chance encounters, appearing at the cafes I frequented. He would send me messages through various channels, the content of which was nothing more than repentance, longing, and praise for my current achievements. I didn't respond to any of his messages, nor did I stop to acknowledge his chance encounters, until one day, he stopped me in front of my office building. "Ava, can't you just give me a chance?" He stood in front of me, his eyes full of pleading. "I know I was wrong before, but I've really changed now. I truly love you." I stopped and looked at him coldly. "Ethan, do you love me?" I repeated his words mockingly. "What you love isn't me, but the Davis family aura you once possessed. The fantasy that you could rely on me to make a comeback. Do you think I didn't know? You approached me just to use my current position and connections to help you return to high society." I watched his expression freeze instantly, knowing I was right. "Stop deceiving yourself," I said coldly. "You are not worthy of talking about love at all. Take your hypocrisy and calculation, and stay away from me." His face was pale, and a trace of panic flashed in his eyes, but he quickly returned to his pitiful appearance. "Ava, you've misunderstood me. I admit I made mistakes in the past, but that's all in the past. I truly regret it now, and I truly want to start over with you. You're the only one in my heart. Nothing else matters." He reached out, trying to grab my arm. "Believe me, Ava, believe me one last time." I disgustedly avoided his hand. "Ethan, your acting is too clumsy." I completely tore through his disguise, from Chloe pretending to commit suicide, to your mother coming to my door to humiliate me, to you guys buying trending searches to cyberbully me. I saw through every single one of your performances. You think acting pitiful will soften my heart? You think I've forgotten you and Chloe working together to steal my designs? Forgotten the humiliation your mother inflicted on me? Don't dream. I looked at his face, which instantly became distorted, and felt no more waves in my heart. I said, "We're done. Forever." I thought my words were clear enough that he would back down. However, their methods are always emerging one after another. A few days later, I saw a familiar figure in the company's underground garage. Mrs. Davis. She was standing next to an old car, peering around. Seeing my car approaching, her eyes lit up and she strode over. A bad feeling welled up in my heart. I had just parked the car and hadn't had time to get out when Mrs. Davis rushed over and grabbed my car door. Ava, you can't leave." Her voice was sharp and tearful. "Ava, I know you're still angry with Ethan, but he was the one you loved after all. He's in such a terrible state now. Can you really bear it?" As she spoke, she deliberately raised her voice, trying to attract the attention of people parking nearby. "The Davis family has nothing left now. Ethan can't find a job, and doesn't even have a place to live. Ava, please, for the sake of us almost becoming a family, forgive him, help him. He really can't live without you." She was in tears, making it seem like I was a wicked woman who abandoned her husband and children. I looked at her clumsy performance coldly. "Moral kidnapping? That trick doesn't work on me." "Mrs. Davis," I said calmly, "please let go of my car door. Your son's current situation is of his own making and has nothing to do with me." I tried to start the car and leave. Seeing that I was unmoved, Mrs. Davis went all out. She sat down on the ground and began to act like a spoiled child, wailing and crying. "Oh, why is my life so miserable? My son has been ruined and his family destroyed by others, and his future daughter-in-law is so cruel, refusing to help. Come and see, this woman is the murderer who harmed my son." Her crying and fussing successfully attracted many employees and passers-by who were preparing to leave. Everyone gathered around, pointing and gesturing at us. Among the onlookers, someone recognized Mrs. Davis, and whispers began to spread. "Isn't that Mrs. Davis from the Apex Group? Why does she look so disheveled? Isn't her son that plagiarist? Ethan, that woman, seems to be that designer Ava who was previously cyberbullied, right?" The discussion grew louder and louder, and the direction of public opinion reversed instantly. "So she's the mother of the plagiarist. Serves her right. The wicked will be punished. They still have the nerve to come looking for people? How shameless." The accusations from the crowd surged towards Mrs. Davis like a tide. Her crying stopped abruptly, her face filled with disbelief and embarrassment. Just then, Ethan rushed over from nearby. He saw his mother sitting on the ground being surrounded and blamed, and saw me sitting in the car watching indifferently. His eyes instantly turned bloodshot. "What are you saying? Shut your mouths." He rushed into the crowd, throwing punches at those who were accusing him. "What do you know? It's all her fault. She ruined our family. She's a scheming bitch, a slut." He completely lost control of his emotions, hitting anyone he saw, creating a chaotic scene. Security guards arrived upon hearing the news and tried to stop him, but Ethan acted like he was crazy, resisting fiercely. In the chaos, Ethan shoved the crowd and accidentally knocked Mrs. Davis, who was sitting on the ground, to the ground. She cried out, and her head hit the concrete floor heavily. The crowd panicked, and Ethan was stunned. I looked at Mrs. Davis lying on the ground, her head bleeding. Although I didn't like her, life was more important than any grudges at this moment. I immediately took out my phone and dialed the emergency number. Ethan was subdued by the police, who arrived at the scene for intentionally injuring someone in public. After investigation and trial, he was eventually sentenced to 5 years in prison. Mrs. Davis suffered severe head injuries. Although she was rescued in time, she was left with serious sequelae and is said to require long-term bedridden care. Chloe, on the other hand, has been in a nursing home, and her condition is unknown. The once prominent Davis family has completely collapsed. When I learned that Ethan had been sentenced, I didn't feel the pleasure I had imagined, only a sense of peace as the dust settled. All grievances, all unwillingness, and anger seemed to dissipate with this ending. I can finally completely let go of the past and start a new life. I am working smoothly in the new design firm, and I have won the recognition of colleagues and bosses with my strength. The projects I participated in have won many awards, and my career is developing vigorously. I moved into a new apartment and rearranged my living space, every corner of which is filled with sunshine and hope. Having saved enough money, I fulfilled my promise to my parents. I booked the tickets and took them on a trip to Europe. At the Colosseum in Rome, at the Louvre Museum in Paris, and by the Bridge of Sighs in Venice, I saw the long-lost smiles on their faces and felt the most sincere and unconditional love. During the trip, Mom held my hand and said, "Ava, no matter how good things are outside, they're not as good as home. If you encounter anything, don't be afraid. Home will always be your support." Dad nodded silently beside her. I looked at them, my eyes a little wet. Yes, no one loves you more than your family. After experiencing all this, I finally understand that compared to so-called love and vanity, the warmth of family and the love of relatives are the most important and precious wealth in life. With this love and understanding, I strode forward, heading towards my own brand new and wonderful future.